Raghav Chadha, among the most recognized articulate faces of the Aam Aadmi Party, very close associate of Arvind Kejriwal, has left the Aam Aadmi Party to join the BJP, and he's taken 6 others with him. They've basically done it in such a way that it allows them to join the BJP without losing their Rajya Sabha seats. So a very interesting law in play here. And also we will take a look at what this means for the Aam Aadmi Party, which seems to be crumbling before our eyes. But before we get to that, like, share, subscribe, sign up for our membership, please. We have a news bulletin that goes out every night, and we'd love for you to sign up and sample that news bulletin as well. Massive bolt for the Aam Aadmi Party. These are all Rajya Sabha MPs. Aam Aadmi Party has 10 MPs in Rajya Sabha. 7 of them have now left, including Chadha, Sandeep, Pathak, Ashok, Mittal. In a press conference, Chadha said 2/3 of the Aam Aadmi Party's Rajya Sabha MPs have broken away and merged with the BJP. There's a very interesting law which means that they get to keep their seats. He also said Harbhajan Singh and Swati Maliwal have also gone. Chadha said, and I quote, "The Aam Aadmi Party that I have nurtured with my blood and sweat has completely strayed from its principles, its values and core morals." He also took aim at Kejriwal and said that the party is no longer working for the country but for its own benefit. And he said, "I increasingly felt I am the right person in the wrong party," announcing his decision to walk away and align himself more closely to the Janta. Sandeep Pathak echoed that sentiment, saying that he never imagined leaving, but he felt compelled to do so. You'll remember about a month ago, the Aam Aadmi Party removed Chadha from his position as a leader of the Aam Aadmi Party in Rajya Sabha and replaced him with Ashok Mittal, who has also left, incidentally. But let me just back this story up for a minute and tell you, first of all, why Raghav Chadha is so important to the Aam Aadmi Party. Who is Raghav Chadha? Well, Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha, Punjab for Aam Aadmi Party, born and raised in Delhi, joined AAP when it was actually just starting. Among AAP's youngest, most articulate spokespeople, very good looking and seemed to have worked in his favor. He became the key face of the party's communication strategy. He served as MLA in Delhi as a very young man, vice chairman of Delhi Jal Board. He was part of Aam Aadmi Party's sweeping victory in Punjab and given a Rajya Sabha seat, which gave him an entry into national politics. Chadha has been seen as a prominent young leader and sort of also seen as the future of the party. So it was really interesting to see him sort of break away, and I'll get back to that. But I also want to tell you who the other people are who have left. Sanjeev Pathak, Rajya Sabha MP Punjab, a very key organizational mind of the Aam Aadmi Party, PhD, Cambridge University, research associate, Oxford University and MIT, has taught at IIT Delhi. His real influence was behind the scenes. He was the National General Secretary of the party, a key strategist, especially during the Punjab Assembly elections. Just pointing out Punjab elections coming up next year. He is often described as Arvind Kejriwal's sort of backroom operator. He played a role in campaign design during Delhi elections in 2020, and they gave him a Rajya Sabha seat in Punjab, making his formal entry into parliament. Ashok Mittal is again Rajya Sabha MP from Punjab, representing AAP, the founder chancellor of lovely professional universities, and he's also a chartered accountant. He had a very significant rise in Aam Aadmi Party. Last month, Mittal replaced Chadha as deputy leader in Rajya Sabha for the Aam Aadmi Party, and immediately after that, the ED raided his businesses in Punjab, saying that there were foreign exchange violations of it, and that has happened almost. I mean, it's just chronologically right, one after the other. He was made the deputy leader for the party in Rajya Sabha. He was raided by the ED, and now he has left the party. Swati Maliwal, very interesting individual, Rajya Sabha MP, Aam Aadmi Party from the beginning. She actually came in through the Anna Hazare route. She was with India Against Corruption, and that is when she started working with Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. Then she was working in their NGO called Parivartan. She was working at HCL. She quit that job and then took up Parivartan full time. She was named chairperson of the Delhi Commission for Women, again among among the youngest people to have held that job. She was then given a Rajya Sabha position, and you'll remember she was in the news because she accused Vaibhav Kumar, who was a very close aide of Arvind Kejriwal, of beating her up in the Kejriwal residence, and that became a massive political controversy. But she stayed in her Rajya Sabha seat, because if you basically leave the party that put you in that seat, you forfeit the seat and you get disqualified because of those laws, and we'll come back to those laws. Harbhajan Singh, the Indian cricketer, was nominated from Punjab after that massive victory that Arvind Kejriwal's and Bhagwat Mann had in Punjab. He was brought in mostly as a popular face, but he said he was drawn into the party's focus of education, healthcare, farmer welfare, and recently he was questioned by the ED in a 2025 probe of illegal online betting platforms. The investigation looked into endorsements by several celebrities, although no charges were filed. That was Harbhajan Singh. So these are the key people who have left. Raghav Chadha, actually the fallout between Raghav Chadha and the Aam Aadmi Party can be traced back to Arvind Kejriwal's arrest in 2024. Remember when Kejriwal was arrested for that liquor scam, he was still Chief Minister of Delhi. Atishi took his place. And Aam Aadmi Party went into full confrontation mode. They hit the streets. They were protesting across Delhi. And it was framed as a political attack by the BJP. At that point, Raghav Chadha was nowhere to be seen, right? He was absent from the front lines. He didn't take part in any protests. He didn't make any statements on social media or in parliament about what was going on, and he appeared less and less confrontational in comparison to everybody else. In fact, his colleagues called him out for it. That was when the perception gap began. In fact, Atishi Marlena openly questioned him, saying, when the party is fighting in the streets, where were you? Then there was an explanation that he apparently went to London for some sort of eye surgery at that time, and he had to stay there and he couldn't travel. But that fueled more speculation, because he could have written something on social media, his party said, or they put out a video, or just put out an audio statement. There are many ways in which you can communicate instead of completely going silent. Then that deeper ideological split came through. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party's leadership line at that point was to take on the Prime Minister, to take on BJP aggressively, to use Parliament as a political background, and to stay aligned and visibly protest constantly. Whereas Chadha took a different approach. He was talking about policy issues, he was talking about parliamentary debates. He avoided taking on the BJP directly, and he built a more measured institutional profile. And that led to mistrust. A lot of his colleagues started accusing him of being soft on the BJP. They called him disloyal for being absent in crucial points for the party. And his style of raising issues was seen as out of sync with the party. So he was actually accused last month of not signing the notice seeking the removal of Gyanesh Kumar, the Chief Election Commissioner. He did not participate apparently when the opposition staged walkouts, and they're constantly saying that he's bringing up trivial issues, and these are not small accusations. The Punjab Chief Minister, Rajya Sabha Leader Sanjay Singh, Atishi Marlena, these are all people who've made these accusations. Chadha, on the other hand, has his own point. He's saying he's raising issues that are important to people and not so much politics. He's talked about food prices at airports. He's talked about delivery details, the manner in which gig workers are being treated in India. And he also then says, as far as the walkouts are concerned, he said that's completely false. He also said that he was never asked to sign any motion against the CEC, and these are not trivial issues. He's talking about GST, he's talking about unemployment, he's talking about air pollution. These are things that are important. And this is an interesting point. He said, I don't go to Parliament to shout and break microphones. I want to create impact. So obviously there is a difference of opinion. That split started to build, in my opinion, 2 years ago. And he basically, it split up further and further away. So the takeaway really is that this was a breakdown of trust a while ago. The Aam Aadmi Party says Chadha stopped playing as a team player 2 years ago, and Chadha says the party has tried to silence him and sideline him. So basically, when the party removed him as their deputy leader, what they did is they told the speaker that this man no longer speaks for the Aam Aadmi Party. So do not give him time that is allotted to the Aam Aadmi Party. Give him his own time, because every party is given a certain amount of time to speak in Parliament. Every individual MP is given a certain amount of time. So, and then he said, oh, you're taking away my time to speak because you're trying to silence me. Now, how has the AAP reacted to this development? Arvind Kejriwal accused the BJP of betraying the people of Punjab. Sanjay Singh said Raghav Chadha and company are traitors. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has said that these guys are gaddars, they're traitors, they have betrayed the people of Punjab. And he said, this is Mann speaking, he said they did not find anything against Bhagwant Mann and they did not level a single allegation, they tried to break Aam Aadmi Party instead, said Mann, referring to himself as in the third person, as politicians usually do. But, you know, the interesting thing about this story is this 2/3 thing, which Raghav Chadha has mentioned over and over again. 2/3 people have quit. This is also the same thing that happened to Uddhav Thackeray's party when 2/3 of the party left with Eknath Shinde. So, this is why it matters. There is a law in place. Now, Raghav Chadha has said 2/3 have left. That is basically 7 out of 10, he said, have left. Under the Indian Constitution, there's something called an anti-defection law. It's contained in the 10th schedule. It decides whether a politician loses their seat for switching parties. Basically, what happens is, if you are elected into Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, or one of the state assemblies from a certain party and you decide to quit that party and join somewhere else, you get disqualified and you lose your seat. And you have to then win your seat back in a by-election from whichever party that you have now joined, unless you have 2/3 of the party is leaving with you. And at its core, it's simply that if an MP defects individually, they get disqualified. But if there is a merger, they don't get disqualified. So a valid merger needs to have at least 2/3 of the party's MPs have to move together. So it effectively argues that basically the entire chunk of the party, the people in the party have lost faith in that party, and that's why they want to move. That is why Chadda's move is so significant, which means that you remember the Swati Maliwal issue happened a while ago, over 2.5 years ago, I think. Raghav Chadda's break with the Aam Aadmi Party also happened 2 years ago. So they've been biding their time and waiting for this moment to actually happen. That's the crucial point. If Chadha had resigned alone, he would have lost his Rajya Sabha seat. The small group now has avoided disqualification. They have protected their memberships in Parliament, and they have turned this into a constitutionally protected move. But what this means is that until yesterday, the Aam Aadmi Party had 10 people in Rajya Sabha. From today onwards, the Aam Aadmi Party will have 3 people in Rajya Sabha and the BJP will have 7 more. So those numbers have changed. So this is a carefully calculated legal maneuver. This is not something that happened overnight. They waited until they had the numbers. They waited until they had the right strategy, and the anti-defection laws did not hurt them. So this is a carefully orchestrated move that has taken place. And the BJP has really hit the Aam Aadmi Party where it hurts. Why? Because of the Punjab elections. Punjab elections will come up fairly soon. And that's the key word, because out of the 7 MPs who have left, 6 represented Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. Now, this would actually mean that these popular faces are not available during the Punjab elections that are going to come up, that are going to seem really, they're going to seem challenging for the Aam Aadmi Party because they only have one state left to actually defend. What this means for the Aam Aadmi Party on the national stage: first of all, immediate hit in Parliament. They have fewer voices to represent Aam Aadmi Party nationally, less leverage in debates and committees and in any sort of negotiation inside the India bloc. There's a loss of leadership talent, obviously, between Chadha and Pathak and Mittal and Maliwal and Harbhajan Singh bringing in any public sort of influence. They're losing their people in communication and strategy and visibility. There is the optics of internal collapse. You look at the Aam Aadmi Party, it looks, from the time that Arvind Kejriwal was Chief Minister of Delhi to where it is today, it looks like it's been decimated completely, and that is where it will take a hit. But I want to have a larger conversation here with you. And there are 2 sides to this, and I want to know what you feel about it, right? I'm not going to tell you how I feel, I want to know what you feel. When a politician leaves a party or switches sides, as we call it, it's more than just switching jobs, right? There's also ideology involved. So on one side, there's the argument of this is a career. So Raghav Chadha has a political career, like each of you, like you and me, we all have careers, and we with our careers, we need to provide for our families, we need to find fulfilling spaces in which to fully realize our potential, and we need to find people to work with, who we enjoy working with, right? So a lot of us change jobs in our careers. We switch companies, we switch bosses, we decide not to work with people we're working with. So why aren't politicians also allowed to do that, and why do we take it so hard? So aren't they just also individuals with careers? If they disagree with the leadership, or they feel the leadership is not what it used to be, isn't it okay for them to sort of leave as a personal choice? So that's one argument. The other argument is politicians are not just employees. They are elected based on an ideology. They're part of a political setup which is based on an ideology. So when you switch, you're also saying that now you believe in the exact opposite of everything you've believed so far. Now, the interesting thing of the moral dilemma here of the Rajya Sabha MPs is that they're not popularly Lok Sabha MPs. They're not voted in by the people, they're indirectly voted in. So over a period of time, if parties change, if leaders start to fall out, or if they no longer believe in each other, is leaving principled, or is it betrayal because you're defecting, you're harming that party, you're helping that party's sworn, rival take them down? And I want to understand where you stand. So the Constitution, through the anti-defection law that we talked about, actually says that. So basically, if I get elected into a party elected into parliament from a certain party, and then I leave that party, I lose my seat, because what it believes in fundamentally is that the people who voted for you voted on the assumption that you are with this party. If you're leaving this party, then that assumption no longer stands. So you go out and you fight for your seat all over again. But in this case, when there are 2/3 and they are saying effectively that none of us believe in this party anymore and we want to merge elsewhere, the Constitution allows them to do so. So the analogy is this: changing jobs or switching companies is not the same as political defection, because then you were elected to represent people and now you're representing them differently without asking their permission to do so. So I want to understand from you that, do you believe that this is a career move, or do you believe this is a breach of trust? And do you think it's a good thing that politicians be allowed to make these switches based on what they believe, based on their changing beliefs, based on their changing needs as well? Let me know what you think of this entire move that Raghav Chadha has orchestrated with 6 of his other colleagues, what it means for the Aadmi Party, and what it tells us about Indian politics right now.